What's up, fans? Sydney Coulson here. Super excited to be in Indy. Cannot wait to see y'all in game.
Super excited about it. And I'm going from a team that was in the media, like people are excited to watch us, into another team that is arguably the most talked about team in sports, right now, especially in women's sports. So this fan base, it's exciting to be a part of, a team that has a lot of positive energy.
No one expected a rookie to flip an entire franchise on its head and attract championship veterans in the process. Yet here we are. For months, rumors spiraled about the Indiana Fever being a lost cause, a place where no proven player would ever set foot. But something unthinkable happened. Two-time WNBA champion Sydney Coulson just strolled into Indianapolis, proudly donned a Fever jersey, and sang the praises of her new teammate Caitlin Clark. Critics who once said nobody wants to play there are suddenly choking on their words. Why did Coulson make such a move? And how did her arrival ignite a frenzy within a franchise once dismissed as irrelevant? We're about to unravel the shocking truth behind the Fever's rise. And it's a tale no one saw coming. In the months leading up to this moment, former players and analysts took aim at the Indiana Fever. The loudest voice in the room was none other than Sheryl Swoopes, a legend of the game who insisted that veterans would steer clear of Indiana if it meant sharing the spotlight with Caitlin Clark. According to her, established athletes wouldn't sign up for the rookie circus, especially in a smaller market that had been struggling to attract attention for years. To be fair, the Fever weren't dominating the headlines. They had promising young talent like the dynamic Aaliyah Boston and the electric Kelsey Mitchell, but the team's record left a lot to be desired. Critics pounced. They labeled Indiana as a stepping stone for players just passing through, not a destination anyone circled on their calendars. And with Clark's unprecedented hype overshadowing every other storyline, the naysayers argued that no star older than 25 would embrace a massive wave of media fixated on one rookie. What's more, fans from rival teams seized the chance to question whether Indiana could possibly handle the pressure. They mocked the front office for banking on a college standout, even one as spectacular as Clark. But behind closed doors, the Fever brass was cooking up a plan so audacious it would leave the doubters speechless. Little did everyone know, a champion with 2 WNBA rings was about to shatter those rumors once and for all. When the news first broke, Sydney Coulson signs with the Indiana Fever, the reaction ranged from disbelief to outright dismissal. Sydney Coulson, the two-time champion who helped the Las Vegas Aces win back-to-back titles? The defensive ace who's known for her high-energy style and locker room leadership? People asked, why would someone with that resume walk into a situation that critics had painted as hopeless? But that cynical perspective started crumbling the moment Coulson walked through the doors of Indiana's training facility. The team posted a welcome video that spread like wildfire across social media. Staff members and players rushed to greet her with an enthusiasm that practically lit up the entire building. This wasn't the forced politeness of a new coworker getting introduced around. It felt like a family reunion, smiles, inside jokes, and genuine hugs all around. The contrast to the rumor mill was startling. For weeks, we'd heard that nobody wanted to share a roster with the heavily hyped Caitlin Clark. Yet Coulson looked like she'd been waiting for this chance her whole career. She didn't appear hesitant or disinterested. In fact, she practically beamed with excitement. And that alone began to flip the narrative. Perhaps Indiana wasn't the basketball wasteland critics had painted. Perhaps the chemistry behind the scenes was far more solid than anyone imagined. Still, skeptics wondered, sure, she's smiling now, but wait until the press conference. Once she faces real questions about Clark, maybe then the truth will slip out. And no, did the truth come out, but it was nothing like what the naysayers expected. Reporters packed the press room, waiting to grill Coulson about this unexpected move. The tension was thick. After all, for months people prophesied that veterans would hate playing under the shadow of a rookie phenomenon. If there were ever a prime moment for a cautious, guarded response, this was it. Instead, Coulson let out a candid statement that reverberated across the basketball world. With zero hesitation, she described Clark's impact on the city and the league as nuts, and she meant it in the best possible way. She was full of praise for how Clark had single-handedly boosted Indianapolis's economy, how fans from across the globe were suddenly flocking to Fever games, and how the entire organization felt a new surge of energy. In that brief moment, Coulson obliterated months of negative speculation. She made it clear that she wanted this environment, that she was excited to team up with Clark, not threatened by her popularity. More than that, she looked genuinely honored to be part of something that could redefine women's basketball in Indiana. This was no reluctant acceptance. It was a heartfelt embrace. When asked about the critics who insisted no veterans would come to Indiana, Coulson just shrugged it off with a confident smile. She wasn't one to rant or call anyone out by name, but her demeanor said it all. If the critics were right, she wouldn't be standing in front of the Fever's media backdrop. Yet there she stood, wearing the new team colors and praising the rookie everyone claimed was unbearable to be around. Every word she said added another crack to the crumbling myth that Indiana was an undesirable destination. Sydney Coulson isn't the only championship-level addition who came knocking on the Fever's door. Over the past several months, Indiana's front office has methodically stacked the roster with proven winners. From Natasha Howard, an elite two-way forward with rings of her own, to Dananna Bonner, a versatile scorer who's seen it all, the Fever have been gathering exactly the kind of seasoned leadership that so many believed would be unobtainable. Add Sophie Cunningham to the mix, known for her fearless style and long-range shooting, and the Fever's puzzle pieces start forming a picture no one anticipated. These veterans are all skilled enough to start on other contenders, yet they zeroed in on Indiana as a place they could collectively thrive. Why? Because there's a movement happening in Indianapolis. The front office didn't haphazardly assemble random players. They sought individuals who could both guide and complement the young superstars. Some might call it a sleeper super team. At first glance, you see the bright faces of Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark, rising talents eager to make their mark. But behind them, you've got a row of battle-tested athletes with playoff scars and championship rings. It's a roster that pairs potential with proven success, youth with wisdom, and hype with mental toughness. Critics initially brushed off these signings as trivial. Then they realized something deeper was unfolding. The arrival of Colson and others wasn't random. It was a carefully orchestrated plan to transform the Fever from perennial underdogs into a lethal contender. The question was whether the locker room chemistry would hold up, especially under the media spotlight focused on Clark. Talk to anyone inside the Indiana Fever organization these days, and they'll describe a powerful cultural shift. Last season, the team had bursts of promise, young stars making huge strides on both ends of the court, but they lacked that last puzzle piece, the championship mindset to hold everything together and provide guidance in crunch-time moments. Now, with Coulson, Howard, Bonner, and Cunningham in the fold, the atmosphere has changed completely. Players who were once anxious about carrying the entire franchise on their shoulders are now buoyed by the presence of veterans who have lived through every scenario imaginable. Coulson, known for her defensive tenacity, can step onto the floor and instantly raise the team's intensity to match. Howard brings a champion's poise that helps calm the storm when opponents make a run. Bonner has a game-breaking scoring ability that can halt a losing streak in its tracks. And Cunningham, with her fiery competitiveness, encourages the younger players to aim even higher. When you add in an undeniable star like Caitlin Clark, someone who's generating revenue, media attention, and new fans almost single-handedly, the result is synergy on and off the court. Far from resenting Clark's popularity, veterans like Colson seem to feed off it, embracing the chance to be part of something fresh and electric. Instead of complaining that Clark's overshadowing them, they're thrilled to see seats filled with chanting fans, and they know that translates to more eyes on them too.
Aww. Dope. Yeah. It's so weird to see yourself in new colors. I love it. I love it. I love it. What's this?
In a matter of months, the narrative flipped from "no one wants to play here" to "who wouldn't want to join this?" The shift has been so dramatic that even longtime detractors are starting to wonder if the Fever's front office orchestrated this entire scenario like a chess master. One piece at a time, they assembled a roster that fuses star power with grit, leadership with ambition. And so far, it's looking like a stroke of genius. One of the biggest criticisms swirling around this franchise was the idea that a loud, spotlight-commanding rookie would disrupt team harmony or spark jealousy in the veterans. Yet when Sydney Coulson got her first question about Clark, she didn't respond with annoyance or dismissal. She responded with delight. She openly praised Clark's skills, describing the insane level of attention and excitement Clark brings to every game. More than that, she viewed it as a boon, not a burden, pointing out how the new wave of fans can help highlight all the WNBA's talent, not just one star. If anything, Coulson conveyed that having Clark in the fold makes everyone's job easier. The seats are packed, the city is buzzing, and the media presence is huge. In short, if you're a competitor who thrives on big moments, you want to be here, feeding off that energy. Clark, for her part, has spoken highly of Coulson's leadership and comedic flair. She noted how a champion like Coulson can share knowledge of the league's toughest playoff battles and show younger players how to keep their focus when the pressure skyrockets. By all accounts, they've formed a bond that's equal parts mutual admiration and readiness to grind. So much for the hater narrative that insisted veterans would flee from Clark's spotlight. Instead, we see the opposite, a sense of respect that only heightens everyone's ambition.
Just talk to me about how she saw me fitting in as a piece on court for the team, and that was really important to me. Like you said, I've been in the league. This is my 14th season out of college, and I've never been considered a lot in free agency. And so for her to see my value, it meant a lot how she was, working me in to be a part of the team. And, I said I want to play on court more in my last couple seasons in the league if I have that. So this was just the right fit.
No side eyes, no subtle digs, no tension in post-game interviews. It's just an impressive collective of athletes eager to learn from each other. It all starts to make sense when you see the bigger picture. The Indiana Fever had a plan: secure a transcendent rookie, Clark, bolster the roster with wise veterans Coulson, Howard, Bonner, Cunningham, and empower existing talents Mitchell, Boston, Hull to chase a title sooner than anyone expected. By the time fans and commentators realized what was happening, the puzzle was nearly complete, transformed from a project in limbo to a genuine contender. Sydney Coulson's arrival was the final slap in the face to those who insisted no big name would ever come. She showed up not just ready, but thrilled to play alongside Clark. Her press conference sounded more like a victory speech than an introductory Q&A. The tension that once haunted this franchise has evaporated, replaced by a sense of unstoppable possibility. Where does this leave the critics who launched their doomsday prophecies about Indiana being a place nobody wants to be? Scrambling, mostly trying to rationalize how multiple ring-bearing veterans landed on a roster with a rookie phenomenon without the slightest bit of friction. The Fever, meanwhile, are off preparing for a season that could rewrite the WNBA's competitive balance. The only question that remains, is this just the beginning of a new era in Indiana, or will these bold moves crumble under the weight of sky-high expectations? The truth is, no one knows for sure, but one thing is clear: all eyes are on the Fever now. They're no longer an afterthought. They're the team that quietly built a juggernaut while naysayers scoffed and jeered. If there's a single takeaway, it's that we might be witnessing the start of something far bigger than just one rookie's hype. And that, right there, is the spark that's electrifying the WNBA. Will the Fever hoist a trophy soon, completing a storybook narrative? Or are they just setting the stage for the greatest underdog run this league has seen in years? One thing's certain: nobody can keep their eyes off Indiana now, and that's the clearest sign yet that the doubters got it all wrong. Thank you for watching. If you're fired up for what Sydney Coulson, Caitlin Clark, and the rest of the Fever can do, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay on top of this unfolding saga. Because in a league where rumors can be loud, Indiana just proved that actions speak louder, especially when they come with championship rings.